guys, welcome to another video tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to make cute corset top with some of the top nail. I'll be making use of these materials and these are the measurements we'll be using. I'll leave them on the screen. First of all, we all know you have to draw your starting point, so I'm just going ahead to draw my starting point on the top part of my pattern paper. The next thing I'm going to add is my length, my blouse length. For this blouse length, I'm making use of the length of 23 inches, although I'll be adding my allowance at the end, but this is just the length I want to use for the blouse length. So mark 23 inches across and just draw a straight line. The next line we'll be inputting is the back length, or you can say the shoulder line, of 16 inches divided by 2, which is 8 inches. So I'm just going to mark a neckline of 3 inches inward and then mark a 1 inch slope down and just connect the line. Our armhole length is 9.1 inches, so we approximated it to 9 inches. We're just going to mark it there. Mark 9 inches and just draw a straight line across the paper. This line we're drawing on the paper is also going to serve as our chest line. That's where our armhole curve is going to stop. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that chest line is the same with the back length of 8 inches and just mark it so I know where to start my curve. After drawing the straight line, I'm going to go ahead and create my curve. So before that, I'm going to input my bust measurement. My bust measurement divided by 4, I'm going to mark it so I know where the curve stops. So on this armhole line of 9 inches, we're marking 4.5 inches, which is the midpoint, and coming out by 0.5 inch. I'm going to connect these lines together to give me my armhole curve. So let's input the next measurement. Next measurement I'm inputting is my shoulder to nipple measurement and my under bust. My shoulder to nipple measurement is 12 inches, so I'll mark 12 inches, and my under bust length is 15 inches. So I'm just marking it together to make it faster, and then I'll go ahead and draw the individual lines. Now that we have that, the next line is to input the waistline. The waistline is 18 inches, so from the shoulder length downwards, just mark 18 inches and label it. So on our paper we have the waistline, the under bust line, the shoulder to nipple, and the blouse length. So the next thing I'll be doing is to input the dart measurements. Our nipple to nipple measurement is 9 inches, so divided by 2 is 4.5. I'm going to mark 4.5 inch from the blouse length all the way to the under bust. After marking it all the way, I'm going to take it up the shoulder to nipple point and just draw a straight line. Next, I'll be inserting my dart of 1 inch. I'll be taking half inch on both sides from the blouse length all the way to the under bust. My dart is going to stop at the under bust. I don't need to put that on the paper because we'll be pleating at the end of the day. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a straight line from the blouse length up to the under bust point on both. slash and spread, but I'll show you after we are done cutting the back. So for this back pattern, we won't need to be adding any zipper allowance. I'm just going to go straight to the point, draw your starting point, and then measure the length for the back as well. For the back blouse length, I'll be making use of 18 inches, which is the same length I use for the shorter part of the front. It's only the front part that has the basque effect. The back is straight. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw my straight line on where the length stops. Next, I'm going to go ahead and insert my shoulder length of 8 inches, create my slope, and then draw my lines. After creating our shoulder slope, we're just going to make the armhole measurement of 9 inches and then just draw a straight line and call it the chest line. So to get this armhole for the back, we all know that we don't need to go in by any inch. So I'm just going to measure the bust point of 11.5 and mark it, and then create my shoulder slope, drawing the lines together. Since it's the back, it doesn't have to be very curved. That's why we're not going in by any half or quarter of an inch. So with our chest line and our waistline, we are good to go. Next thing I'm going to insert is the dart measurement. So I'm marking 4.5 inches on the chest line and the waistline as well. Then connect the lines together. So on the waistline, I'll go in by half an inch and come out by half an inch, and then connect that line upwards to the chest line. After creating our dart, I'm just going to go ahead and input the waist measurements and the bust measurements. So the next thing is to insert our neckline. I'm going to be marking 2 inches from the shoulder line, and then I'll just create my curve to give me the neckline. So we have our neckline and we're basically done with the back pattern. So let's go ahead and cut it out. Now that we're done with the back, let's go to the front and show you how I slash. So this is what we have. I told you earlier that it's folded in two, but I cut it out. So to do that, you're going to divide it into two and measure the midpoint of your shoulder. Remember, there is the dart point below, so I'm just going to join the lines from the dart to the midpoint of the shoulder line like this. It doesn't have to be a straight line, but just make it in such a way that it aligns. So after drawing the line, the next thing I'm going to do is to take my scissors and then cut through this line all the way to the shoulder part, but I'm going to leave about half an inch. So you can leave as much as half an inch or 3/4 of an inch so your paper can open or spread properly. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look for a plain sheet and then attach it to the back part of this. So just get a plain paper and then you hold it down on the sides, on the middle, on the shoulder line, so that the paper stays in place. And I'm leaving a space of 5 inches because that will be enough for my gathers or pleating at the bust point. You can leave as much as that. It all depends on how full you want that part to be. So I'm just going to use my sellotape to hold it down. You can make use of your pin or whatever you have. While holding it down with your sellotape, make sure you cross-check the amount of space you want to have, and if it's exact, just keep holding it down till you have what you want. So after holding it down, this is going to be our new pattern. I'm just going to trim out the edges and we have our front bodice again. So after trimming, we're done. This is what we have for the new pattern, and this is what you cut on your fabric. Make sure you add your sewing allowance. See you in my next video.